So let's continue from where we had stopped, that why the elders did the work that they were doing and what the children were interested in. Now, one winter morning, I see Sahab standing by the fenced gate of the neighborhood club, watching two young men dressed in white playing tennis. I like the game, he hums, content to watch it standing behind the fence. Content means satisfied. I go inside when no one is around, he admits. When nobody is watching at that time, he would go inside and start watching. The gatekeeper lets me use the swing. Sahab too is wearing tennis shoes that look strange over his discolored shirt and shorts. Now he was fond of tennis, he was wearing shirt and shorts, but the shoes were the tennis shoes. Someone gave them to me. He says in the manner of an explanation that how come he had the tennis shoes. The explanation is that someone gave it to me. The fact that they were discarded shoes of some rich boy who refused to wear them because of the hole in one of them does not bother him. The reality was that some rich boy stopped using the shoes because there was a hole in one of the shoes. That reality did not matter to him because for one who has walked barefoot, even shoes with a hole is a dream come true. Those shoes were also kind of a dream for him because he was living in such kind of a dire poverty. But the game he is watching is so intently is out of his reach. But tennis is an expensive game, and it's not likely that he might be really able to play that. He had got the tennis shoes somehow, but that would not help. This morning, Sahab is on his way to the milk booth. In his hand is a steel canister. Canister is a cylindrical cane. I now work in a tea stall down the road, he says. He had changed his work. Instead of rag picking, he had started doing this. I now work in a tea stall down the road, he says, putting in the pointing in the distance, the place where he was working. 800 rupees and all my meals. Does he like the job? I ask. His face, I see, has lost the carefree look. Earlier, he used to enjoy rag picking and he was always carefree, but that look was no more now. The steel canister seems heavier than the plastic bag he would carry so lightly over his shoulder. The bag was his. He used for rag picking, that plastic bag was his. The canister belongs to the tea shop. Sahib is no longer his own master. So that was something that he really enjoyed. But he was getting 800 rupees and all his meals, so he was happy with that. That is the second part of this lesson. I want to drive a car. Mukesh insists. Mukesh is the second character that is described in the second part. Mukesh is his own master. I will be a motor mechanic. This part says Sahib ended up working at a tea stall with 800 rupees, so he became an employee there. But Mukesh has a different kind of dreams. He says that I will be a motor mechanic. Do you know anything about cars? I ask. I will learn to drive a car. He answers, looking straight into my eyes. He was confident. His dream looms like a mirage against the streets that fill his town, Firozabad. Now, Mukesh was from Firozabad, and this dream of becoming a motor mechanic and driving a car was kind of a mirage against the dusty area of the streets that he came from, Firozabad. This Firozabad was famous for its bangles. Every other family in Firozabad is engaged in making bangles. It is the center of India's glass, where families have spent generations wielding glass, making bangles for all the women in the land, it seems. Now, Firozabad is famous for this making bangles, and they make so many bangles that it seems that they are providing bangles to the whole of the nation, and all the women in the nation wear their bangles. Mukesh's family, none of them know that it is illegal for children like him to work in the glass furnaces with high temperatures. Now, that is how they used to work for making bangles. And none of them were aware about that it was illegal. For children like me, like him, to work in the glass furnaces with high temperatures in dangerous cells that were very in a very miserable condition with light, that the law, if enforced, could get him and all those 20,000 children out of the hot furnaces where they slog their daylight hours, where they tirelessly work. They can get out from that to, and away from the hot furnaces if law is enforced properly over there. Often losing the brightness of their eyes, and when they keep working with the near the furnaces, at the end they lose their eyesight. Mukesh's eyes beam as he volunteers to take me home, which he proudly says is being rebuilt. Now he asked the author to, and by saying so, he felt very proud announcing that his house was being rebuilt. We walked down stinking lanes choked with garbage. The lanes through which they were walking were stinking, were smelling badly, and they were choked with garbage. Past homes that remain hovels are huts or say temple, kind of temporary roofs in which say we keep animals, with crumbling walls were almost breaking. There were cracks in that. Wobbly doors means crowded with families of humans and animals coexisting in primeval state. In the ancient or an undeveloped state, the animals and the human beings were existing together in these kind of poor houses. He stops at the door of one such house, bangs the wall door with his foot, and pushes it open. So he reaches his house. There was an iron gate, and he kicked and opened it. He enters a half built shack, that was a half built kind of a hut. In one part of it, thatched with dead grass, and on one side of that, say, dead grass here means that it could be used for, say, as a firewood, is a firewood stove over which sits a large well of sizzling leaves. So that firewood stove was there. Near that, this grass was staked. Dead grass means dry grass. And besides that, ground in large aluminum platter are more chopped vegetables. There were many vegetables which are already chopped. A frail young woman is cooking the evening meal for the whole family. A weak young woman was cooking for the whole family. Through the eyes filled with sorry through eyes filled with smoke she smiles by the stove. Her eyes were, say, watering. Through that she is the wife of Mukesh's elder brother. Not much older in years, she has begun to command respect as the Bahu, the daughter in law of the house, already in charge of three men, her husband Mukesh and her husband Mukesh and their father. So she was taking care of the house. At a young age, she had become responsible and she was respected. When the older man enters, that is the father of Mukesh's father enters, she gently withdraws behind the broken wall and brings her veil closer to her face. As custom demands, daughters in law must veil their faces before male elders. In this case, the elder is an impoverished Bengal man who is poor. Despite long years of hard labor, first as a tailor, then a bangle maker, he has failed to renovate a house. That though he kept working very hard as a tailor and then as a bangle maker, he was not successful in renovating his house. Nor was he successful in sending his two sons to schools. He could not educate his children. All he managed to do is teach them what he knows. And what did he know? The art of making bangles.